Hi YouTube, it's Point Shooter here. Today I'm doing a video on an international survival kit. Last year you guys saw my survival kit for Israel. This is sort of the version 2 of that kit. This is the kit that is going to Poland and Belarus with a friend of mine who's doing some travel over there. And first off, if you guys have seen Ramir's special on Belarus, you know a little bit about the environment over there. You're looking at a cold woodland area. So it's definitely going to be a shock to the system for all of us living in the United States, which is in midsummer now. So definitely you're going to be looking at shelter and water as two of your top priorities, and that's what this kit is focusing on: shelter and water and fire. I've also got some guidebooks here. I've got the Collins Gem SAS manual and the SEER manual for the military, and these are my two go-to manuals. I don't recommend that people travel with this manual, being that it is a military manual, and actually there are some places international where you're not even allowed to wear camouflage in some of the Caribbean islands and places. So I recommend you don't bring anything military with you. I've also got photocopies of a bunch of different guides, including my favorite, the BCB Survival Guide. So let's dive right into kit. In the front pouch, I've got just some small items. I've got an American flag patch, a cloth one. Why would this be important? I think it's very important that in an international situation that you have a way to identify yourself as American. Maybe it's not on the outside of your clothing, but look at foreign countries where people have been accused of being spies and other things like that. I think that's something that identifies you as very important. There's also a very small backup button compass in here. It's a little finicky. You got to jiggle with it a little bit. It's a 14 millimeter. So those are the things on the outside, as well as just some little brochures and things, since he's traveling with a Christian group, some gospel tracts. So let's dump part of the kit out and see what we've got in here. It's pretty packed. First of all, we've got a first aid kit. This is just a basic first aid kit, but I think it's one that's going to work pretty well for where he's going. It's got gloves, band-aids, your basic antibiotic ointments, things of that nature. I've also got a little bit of bug spray here, since there's a big mosquito problem over in Belarus forests. Next, we got the shelter component. This is a grabber space blanket. These are my favorite, aside from the Adventure Medical Kit models. This one is olive drab, which is a nice subdued color, and it doesn't flash necessarily as military. It's just a camping item. It doesn't say military issue or anything like that on it. These could come in silver or gold, but I prefer the green. Next, for shelter, we've got a disposable poncho. This is a red one, and it's going to be the only really brightly colored piece of item in the kit. I think that in most cases, you're probably not, I can't really imagine other than a natural disaster situation where you're going to really need to do a lot of signaling. So this is the main bright colored item. Next, we've got a Sunto A10 compass, and something I'm very glad to have is the pocket guide that comes with some of the models. This is a very complete guide to land navigation, and I think it's important to include in the kit in the event that you were in a situation where you had to navigate. Maybe it was just a camping trip, or you guys went on a day hike and you said, oh yeah, I've got that compass in there, I want to figure it out. This is something I'd read on the plane over. Obviously, as Cody Lundin says, it's too late to read the book to swim when the boat's sinking. So I think it's important that any of these guidebooks are something that you would refer to before you went. I've got a set of temporary sunglasses here with holes punched in the sides that you could use with string or slip behind prescription eyeglasses. Great thing to have. There's also a roll of duct tape. So these are the things that are on the outside of the kit. There's also an eyedropper, and people probably think, why an eyedropper? Well, in an urban situation, chlorine bleach is going to be your best friend as far as water purification. 2 to 4 drops per quart, about 16 drops per gallon if the water is very dirty. Obviously, there's some other water purification options in this kit, but I include this so that if you had access to a gallon of bleach, and that's the first thing that I recommend people pick up, is some bottled water and a gallon of bleach. Because a gallon of bleach allows you to do sanitation, hygiene, and water disinfection in a foreign country. So just a little pipette dropper. So now we've got the actual inside kit. This is a Maxim kit that I've had for a while, and I love this box. It's not 100% watertight, but it's bright orange, and the best thing is it's got this large 4x5 signal mirror on it. It's plastic and it's got a coating on it, but it actually reflects very well. Inside of this kit is jam-packed. You can see cotton balls everywhere, so that's your emergency tinder, as well as it takes the rattle out of the kit. First and foremost, let's talk about fire. We've got 3 methods of fire in here. We've got some strike-on-box matches. This is very important to remember. You cannot fly with strike-anywhere matches according to TSA regulations. Only strike-on-box. And I don't know what foreign country regulations are about matches, but definitely you want to research that before you go. We've also got 10 UCO stormproof matches with waterproof strikers. So that's 2. And a small ferro rod. 3. I've got it taped together so it doesn't rattle. So those are your first 3 things of fire. There's also a candle in here, a small 1-hour tea light candle. So that's going to help with fire. So what else is in the kit? We've got a small howler whistle, a backup button compass. This is a 20mm. This is a very accurate one. In fact, I've still got it tagged AMK. This came out of one of my Venture Medical Kit kits. We've got a small length of snare wire, I think 5 yards, so about 15 feet, or 5 meters for you guys overseas. Golf pencil, something very important to have if you need to make a sketch map or you need to write notes down. If you needed to write down about your travel arrangements, something important to have. There's 2 types of cordage in here. This is out of an SOL Origin kit. It's 10 feet of braided nylon, and it has a pretty high tensile strength. I forget exactly how much it is, like 100 pounds or whatever it is. But I don't like carrying it in my kit because I prefer to use kite string, which is what you see here. So I threw this in there because I figured if he needs to repair something or he breaks a shoelace or something, this is going to be a lot better than kite string. But there's also a large hank of kite string here, which I think is a very useful cordage. Fishing lines, sewing, suturing, any different number of things that you could use this for. It's a bottle of potable aqua. Oh no, iodine. Well, he's a guy and he's not going to be using it for more than 30 days. This will do 25 quarts, which is about 6.5 gallons. And for a short-term 3 to 4 day survival situation, this is going to be fine. I've also urged him to pick up chlorine dioxide tablets. I didn't have enough to send him with this kit with a full course of 30. In fact, I'm pretty low myself. The shortage last year hit me pretty hard. But potable aqua tablets are fine and they ride in the kit, and that's what's very important. If he leaves all this behind, but he has this orange box with him, he's got a good chance. Sewing kit with a couple buttons, sewing needles, threads. Small fishing kit with some hooks, some large and some very small hooks on a safety pin. You're definitely going to want to make sure, oh, and there's a couple extra safety pins in the yellow pouch I forgot to mention. You're definitely going to make sure you focus on small hooks. People get ambitious and they want to get that big pike or whatever with a big hook. Chances are you're going to catch a small fish before you catch a big fish. I include both, but in case he's, you know, a very good fisherman or whatever, or someone else in the group is, but I prefer the small hooks. There's a couple Band-Aids and some wound closure strips. And last but not least, this is an Aquamira Frontier straw. Not the Frontier Pro, this is the Frontier. This is the Zombie Joe's model off eBay. And it will do up to about 20-25 gallons of water. This has about a 2 micron filtration range. Aquamira has strayed away from saying what the microns are anymore. But with this small straw, this will do about 20 gallons and will remove cysts. Generally, most water that you find here in the U.S., you're not going to deal with viruses, so water purification tablets aren't needed as much, but you need something to filter out the bacteria and the cysts, your Giardia, Cryptosporidium, and this filter straw does it. People say, well, why not put a bigger filter in? Well, because it fits in the box, that's why. You also have the Sawyer Mini, that if you did have a long-term situation, this will do 100,000 gallons. I'm not a real huge Sawyer fan, but their products are solid and they do work. So, company views aside, I do recommend the Sawyer Mini for travel. So as far as the kit, that's what we're looking at. There's a small Inova microlight on the outside that he can use. So we covered the 2 survival books. There's a packet of Quick Clot to go in there. And these are photocopies of the SE Azula cards. This is a wilderness first aid guide by Adventure Medical Kits. These are the Doug Ritter instructions that used to go in the Adventure Medical Kits pocket pack. And last but not least, my favorite survival instructions, a photocopy of my BCB survival instructions from my personal tin. So I think that overall, oh, there is one more thing I forgot to mention. This is a shout out to Black Oracle 69. and probably one of the most important things in the kit. This is a needle file that is blunt tipped, so hopefully it's not considered a weapon. This is how you're going to sharpen your knife. There is no cutting tool included. I would love to send a Leatherman tool like the Juice or something along, but regulations prohibit me and him probably from taking a knife into the country. Maybe he can pick one up locally, that's what I'm planning on, but if all he can manage is to pick up a kitchen knife or something like that, that he can keep with his food and cooking supplies, this is something that would allow him to put an edge on just about anything. This is a very reliable file. It's got a nice edge on it that allows you to put a decent edge on a knife. Or if you just even found a piece of steel or a lid off of a tin can, this will allow you to make something that you could use to cut. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. We've got a little bit of time before he leaves, but he's coming to pick up the kit today. So I just wanted to show it off real quick. I think that there's a fair amount of gear here, and hopefully none of it gets needed. But as I always say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Take care, guys. This is Point Shooter signing out.